this is your third science video of the week and your final science experiment. Okay, so hopefully you've had a go at the last two and you're going to have a go at this one. This experiment is called the magic milk experiment, okay? And you'll see why it's called the magic milk experiment in a minute. So I'm going to talk you through what you need and how to do it. And then this one you can have a go at home, okay? So firstly, what you're going to need is a plate, okay? A plate that has a little bit of a dip in the middle, okay? So you're going to need a plate, a big plate, okay? Not a little one, a big plate. And then what you need is, what you need is some milk, okay? Some milk. So I'm going to pour some milk, just a little bit, so that it covers the bottom of my plate. I don't want it overflowing because then I'll have an awful mess, okay? Just enough milk to cover the base of my plate, okay? So you've got to be really careful when you're pouring this. Okay, so if I turn it, I've got this much milk on my plate, okay? So next, what we need to do is some food colouring again. At this time, you can choose lots and lots of colours, okay? And all I'm going to do is just put one blob of food colouring in different places, okay? So the different colours I'm going to separate in different places. So I'm going to start with green and put one little blob. Whoa. And when you put the food colouring down, it is really cool. I'll show you what I've done for the green one. Dun, dun, dun. Okay, now I'm going to choose yellow. I wonder what will happen if these two colours, the green and yellow, mix. So I've put my yellow in. Now I'm going to choose red, and I think I'll stop there. So green, yellow and red. So I've poured in my red, okay. Ooh. Next, what you need is some fairy liquid, okay. So what I have done, just so it's easier to show you, I've just poured a little bit of my fairy liquid into a glass, okay. So fairy liquid, and then what you need to do, so I'm using the end of a spoon, okay. You're going to need something to dip into the fairy liquid, okay. So anything that you can think of to dip in to the fairy liquid, okay. So you might find that it's easier to pour the fairy liquid onto the spoon. Now I'm using the end of my spoon, I'm not using the normal end, I'm using the other end, okay. And I've dipped my spoon into some of the fairy liquid, okay. Then what you have to do is just touch the milk and the food colouring with the fairy liquid and see what happens, okay. Ooh, whoa. Okay, now I'll change my camera. So I put my fairy liquid here and the food colouring just disappeared. It moved out the way. Let's try over here. Oh, it's happening again. What about here? Can you see what's happening? Oh, that one didn't work. Let's try another bit. Let's try over here. Now what you've got to be really careful is that you don't put too much fairy liquid in, okay? Otherwise it will just sink to the bottom. Okay, now it's quite difficult doing this with one hand. And you can move it around and see what happens. And what's happening is that the milk and the fairy liquid don't want to mix with each other, and the food colouring is just there to show us the movement that's happening. So it will work for a while and then eventually it will stop working. But basically what's happening is the food colouring, the food colouring is showing what's happening because it's making a colour, but it's actually the milk and the fairy liquid that don't want to mix with each other. So as soon as I put the fairy liquid in, the milk tries to move away from it, and the fairy liquid is showing us that. Okay, so your job is to have a go at trying this one at home and send pictures of the patterns you make. Okay, because you can make some really, really pretty patterns with this. Okay, it might work the first time, it might not. Okay, you might have to try a few times to get it to work. But please email us your pictures and enjoy experimenting. Bye.